Hello everyone, welcome back and welcome new viewers to some more STORMWORKS. It is a huge announcement day. They just announced that the Space DLC is coming out and it's coming out the 12th of October. Super excited. We just got done watching the live stream from the devs. I've got a lot of notes to go over. They've just put the announcement out, so we're going to read through the announcement. We'll watch the trailer and then we'll see what they've missed and what I got from my notes that you guys would like to hear. That way you guys don't have to go there and watch the, I think it was like an hour and 10 minutes long. I'll try to get it down as quick as possible. So let's go through it. Dear STORMWORKers, the new STORMWORKS Space DLC will release 12th of October. It's on the wish list. One thing that did say, it's going to be like the other DLCs. It should be like $9.99, $10. So let's go ahead and add that. All right, so here's the trailer. Let's go ahead and read through real quick. We'll talk about it, and then we can actually watch the trailer. STORMWORKS. Space has been years in the making, and it introduces space and moon operations to the world of STORMWORKS. Space and lunar biome. Travel from Earth up to the atmosphere, across the vacuum of space, and down the surface of the moon in a continuous simulation. Space is infinite nothingness, while the lunar surface is 900 square kilometers of gray dust. I think they said it was 30K wide, something like that. Craters, canyons, and caves. New simulations. Gravity will be simulated and weakens as you travel away from the Earth and Moon. Ascend high for geostationary orbit or build horizontal velocity for lower orbit. Very cool. Vacuum and compressed gases are introduced, as well as the oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and nitrogen component parts of air. That's going to be really cool. Maintain life support and avoid overpressure or underpressure, hypoxia and hypercapnia, equalize pressure before opening doors or risk of being sucked through. Very cool. New components propel through space with new liquid fuel engines fueled by compressed oxygen and hydrogen, which can be manufactured using electrolysis. RCS thrusters and gyroscopic actuators can be used for fine control. New navigation components help orient and position you where there is no GPS coverage, because GPS doesn't work in space. Build spacewalks kits with the new seats. New equipment operate in vacuum with the new spacesuits. Limited air supply can be recharged in some seats. I believe there was 2 spacesuits that they showed. They didn't talk about it, but there was 2 different designs there. Limitations. Our take on space simulation has limitations, mostly because the game engine wasn't originally designed for space. For example, while in a seat you have 6 degrees of freedom as usual, outside of a seat the player always orients constantly with the same up direction. No 6DOF first-person controller. So taking the flat planar world of STORMWORKS and getting this to work as a spherical body planetary simulation has required a lot of thought. It looked really good, I feel like they've done a really good job. The surface of the Earth and the Moon will tile/wrap around. Our solution remaps 3D space along gravitational field lines and mostly makes sense in quantum space, but is not true to Euclidean, I butchered that word, simulation, and has some limitations, such as not being able to travel around the back of the Moon. Not a problem. It's going to be dark as crap on this thing anyway. So, major update as usual, the DLC is accompanied by significant updates to the base game in order to help with compatibility and incorporate some of the new systems to the base game where it makes sense to do so, such as compressed gases, world tiling, etc. New components will also be cosmetically available in the base game with limited functionality to help keep the workshop unified and compatible. That's nice. I mean, you still get to build with the parts, they just don't work. That's kind of like the weapons DLC. We look forward to your thoughts, feedback on this new update. Very cool. Let's watch the trailer real quick, and then we'll jump into the notes that I took from the live stream. Okay, what an awesome trailer. What an awesome trailer. I'm super excited. You get to see some of the new parts there that were going on and what we're going to be expecting from this. Let me jump into my notes real quick, and we'll talk about what I noticed from the live stream here. So let me just run through. A lot of these are maybe not in order how you would expect it. I was taking notes as the live stream was going, so some of these might be a little out of place. But we'll just start and I'll just kind of run through it. So October 12th is when this comes out. It's going to be a $10 DLC. There will be a pressure loss at altitude, which is kind of cool. There's a loss of gravity, which is neat. The moon is 30 kilometers wide, so you got 900 square kilometers on the moon to mess with. So that's about the equivalent of Sawyer Isles. For those you're kind of looking for an idea how big that zone is going to be. There will be a new electrolysis component, so you'll be able to separate oxygen and hydrogen, which will be very nice. New gas sensor, barometer. There will be nitrogen, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide gases added to the game. There'll be liquid fuel rockets. New thrusters will be using these gases, and they said that you can use any of these gases to use these thrusters. Those thrusters, I think, will have 4 nozzles on one thruster, and they will have a composite channel, so you'll be able to control those. There is no GPS in space, so there'll be a new astronomy sensor. New missions. They said it would take 15 to 20 minutes to be able to get to the moon, there and back, depending on, I guess, your speed. They are adding new solar power panels, so we'll get a 4x4, so you just have the one hook up there. I hope they really rework the solar panels. I hope they'll work a lot better in the future, because they just struggle, in my opinion. Fire now consumes oxygen and will produce CO2, so that's something you got to think about. Dying of not enough oxygen or too much CO2 will also be a thing, so you got to watch the closed spaces, and also your NPCs or your dog. You don't want those to die. There will be a new seat/space seat that we'll be able to use, and it looks like you'll be making spacewalks with that, so you can kind of put some of the thrusters and things like that on it as well. They said gravity is a lot less, about 60% less than that on the actual planet of STORMWORKS, so to speak. So it'll be bouncing around, kind of like how we when we all lag out, that's kind of the moon bounce that we'll get. That's been some good practice for bouncing on the moon. Let's see. The sun and the moon are separate now, so they rotate on a different axis, which is really neat. Let's see where I'm at. There are new spacesuits. Looks like there was 2 of them, and it looks like you can customize the colors on them, which is really nice. They said there will be new rocket workbenches on both islands, so you'll be able to build there. And they said they think it's about the same size, if not bigger, than an elongated large ship space. The world is now wraparound, which is really neat. So it's a sphere. So if you go one direction, you'll end up on the other side of the map. So I'm curious to test this out. I'm curious to see if we go south from Myers, how long it will take us to end up at the Arctic, and if it's a shorter trip. That's something we might need to test here in the future. New antennas / satellite dish, so you'll have directional antennas, so you'll be able to talk lots of distances or send signals away, really far away. And it makes me wonder if we'll actually be able to communicate with radio from, say, Sawyer or Myers to the Arctic because of that distance. There will be some new pre-made tank cylinders, but they said that all tanks will contain pressure. This is just more of a cosmetic thing to add more life to the game, which is really cool. Gyroscopic actuators, really neat. They said weapons will work in space, so that's a cool thing. We can have space battles. Didn't hear anything about lasers though, so we don't know about that. NPCs and animals consume oxygen and will produce CO2, so you also don't want to make sure you trap them in a small space, and if you do, you want to make sure you have oxygen flow to that. So we're actually going to have to build some ventilation systems for a lot of our builds, which is really interesting. And a lot of our builds that we've kind of built enclosed so that they float on the water, we're going to have to worry about suffocating in those. Let's see, Lua support for add-ons, that's great, so we'll be able to add some more missions up there. Unfortunately, we can't go to the sun. That's something that we asked, and it's not going to happen. Otherwise, I guess you just burn up anyway. As far as how the map works, you just go into our regular map, and at the top where you have wind, rain, fog, and stuff like that, they said there would be a tab there for the moon. And no aliens. Maybe we can get a add-on that maybe puts zombies on the moon or something. That would be really cool. And side notes, they said that sales have been paused, that they actually did start working on them, but they paused it for working on other things that they felt was actually doable. They said there was a lot of mechanics that would happen in sales that they were worried about breaking the game. And they are super interested in the fishing idea. So that's something that we can look forward in the future. And they said that they've got a lot of stuff planned for all of next year as well. So it looks like the game is still much alive and there's a lot to come. So guys, that's all I got from the The live stream is up. It'll be I think it's playing again, and you can go back and watch it if you have any other questions that you think I might have missed here. But I tried to do my best to get a bunch of notes for you guys so that I could throw this out here as quick as possible and get all the information to you guys. So if you guys do love these update videos, let me know with a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Comment down below. Tell me whether you like it or hate this DLC. I don't care. I want to know what your opinion on this. I feel like this is a cool DLC. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I feel like it's something that the game is needed. Just to kind of expand the world a little bit, but I know everybody else kind of wants something else out of this game, and hopefully you will get that in the future. But guys, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you 100%, and we will see you in the next one.